For ghosting my parents after they spent my $4,000 on my sister? My name is Chloe. I work in software development at a major tech company, one of those giants in Seattle that expects your whole life but pays you enough to make you consider it. And thank goodness for that, because otherwise none of this would have been possible. I live in Seattle and my family is back in Phoenix, Arizona. My parents are still there, along with my younger sister, Haley. Haley is 21 and in her junior year of college. I moved to Seattle right after graduation 7 years ago for this job. I am almost 9 years older than her. The distance never really bothered me until my 30th birthday started creeping up. That is when you start thinking differently. You start wanting the people who are supposed to matter most to be close, even if it is just for one night. 2 months before my birthday, I called them. My mom answered on the third ring. Hello, Mom. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about my birthday. I know it is still a little while away, but I am planning something special for my 30th, and I really want you guys to come up. There was a pause. It was not a long one, but it was just long enough for me to notice. How nice, honey. Let me talk to your dad. I heard muffled voices in the background, like a quiet disagreement. I could not make out the words, but I understood the tone. When my mom came back on the line, her voice sounded different, cautious. Yes, we want to go, Chloe. It is just that flights are so expensive right now. Do not worry about that, I am covering everything, I said quickly, almost like I was afraid they would say no. Flights, a hotel if you need it, though you can stay with me. I have a guest room. Well, if you are sure, my mom said. Let me check with Haley too. That same day I called Haley. She answered sounding distracted, like I had interrupted something. What is up? Mom already told you about my birthday. I want you to come. It is my 30th. Yes, it is a big deal to me. Well, yeah. I mean, if you are going to pay for everything, she said, as if she were granting me a favor. She did not say it in a mean way, but with that kind of detached coolness that leaves you feeling a little unsettled. Yes, I am paying for it. You guys just need to show up. All right, sounds good. I hung up and was left with a strange knot in my stomach. They did not sound excited. They sounded like I was asking them for a huge inconvenience. I told myself they were probably just surprised, or worried about the money, even though I had already told them I was taking care of it. A few days later, Haley called me. Hey, about the birthday. I was looking at flights and they are crazy expensive. That is why I told you I am paying for them. Yeah, but I had an idea. Instead of you buying everything, it would be better if you just sent me the money and I can handle it. I know how to find deals. I can keep an eye on them and buy when the price drops. It would be cheaper for you. I thought about it for a second. It would save me the headache of coordinating 3 different schedules. How much do you need? Look, since the date is close and it is on a weekend, I am thinking around $3,000 for all 3 of us. I will see if I can get it for less. It was not a small amount, but this was my family and I wanted them to be there. Okay, I will wire the money today. Perfect, I will start looking tomorrow. That same day, I sent a $3,000 wire transfer from my bank. Stung a bit, but I did it to have them with me. Haley had always been good at finding discounts, or at least that is what she always said. I was swamped with a project at work and also busy organizing the party. I did not want some sad little get-together in my apartment with just a cake. I wanted a nice grown-up celebration with my friends and my family, all in the same room. 2 weeks went by and I heard nothing about the tickets. I figured Haley was just waiting for the perfect price. I did not want to pressure her, so I focused on my own plans. I found a great Italian restaurant in the Capitol Hill neighborhood and made a reservation. It was not the most expensive place in the city, but it was beautifully decorated. One of those places that feels special without feeling like you are pretending to be someone you are not. I reserved a table for 15 people. Between my friends, a few coworkers, and my family, it was the perfect size. They asked for a $500 deposit to hold the large table. I paid it and started to get genuinely excited. I could already picture it. All of us laughing, making toasts, feeling loved. Between work and errands, time flew by. Before I knew it, my birthday was just a few weeks away. That excitement lasted until my mom called me. Hello, my love. Hey, please do not get upset, but I wanted to ask you for something else. Your dad and I were thinking, and honestly, we do not have anything nice to wear. Everything we have is so old. We would be embarrassed to show up to your party looking like this." I heard her take a breath, as if she were already preparing to be the victim before I even answered. "And how much do you need?" "Well, I do not know, maybe $1,000 for the two of us to buy something decent and maybe get our hair done." Guilt was woven into every word, as if my birthday were a burden I was placing on them. "Okay," I said. "I will send it to you today." "Thank you, honey. You are such a good daughter." I transferred another $1,000. That was $4,000 in total. And I stubbornly kept telling myself it is a one-time expense, I only turned 30 once. If this gets them here and makes them feel comfortable, it is worth it. The day before my birthday, I took the day off from work to finalize the details. I confirmed with the restaurant. I picked up the cake, bought some drinks and snacks to have at my apartment in case we ended up there afterward. I was rushing around, and for the first time in weeks, I felt truly happy until my doorbell rang. I opened it and there was a delivery driver with a box. "Chloe Evans? Package for you. Just need a signature." I signed and looked at the return address. It was from Phoenix, from my parents. I stood there with the box in my hands, confused. They were supposed to fly in the next day. If they were bringing me a gift, the normal thing would be to bring it with them. I went inside, set the box on my kitchen island, and saw it had a card taped to the top in my mom's handwriting. "Happy 30th birthday, Chloe. With love, Mom, Dad, and Haley." The card was normal. The package was not. I opened the box. Inside was a pink dress, but not a nice pink. It was a loud, garish pink, made of a cheap, scratchy fabric that was trying to look elegant and failing miserably. It had bizarre puffy sleeves and a bow on the waist that seemed completely out of place, and it had a smell. It smelled musty, like dampness, like that scent of old clothes that have been sitting in a storage unit for years. I lifted it up and then I saw the tag. A tag from a thrift store, and it still had the price on it. $15. I stared at it without blinking. My parents sent me a used $15 dress for my 30th birthday, after I had sent them $4,000 so they could come and buy new clothes. At first I thought, maybe this is a joke, maybe they are playing a prank on me and tomorrow they will show up with the real gift. But my parents are not the joking type. They never have been. I called my mom voicemail. I called my dad voicemail. I called Haley voicemail. I started to get that awful sinking feeling that something was very wrong. I sent my parents a text message. "The package arrived. Why did you send this? Is everything okay?" No one answered. Nothing. I waited an hour. I called again. Nothing. I sent another message. "Seriously, I am worried. Please answer me. What is going on with this dress?" 2 hours passed. Still nothing. Around 8 at night, a text from my mom came through. A single line, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. "That is your birthday gift. The money you sent we spent on a trip for Haley. She is in Cabo with her friends. Do not get mad. You have to understand that right now she is a priority. She is younger and needs more support." I read that message several times, as if my brain refused to process it. They had spent my money for $1,000, and instead of coming to my birthday they sent Haley to Cabo, and they sent me a used $15 dress. I replied, "I understand perfectly." And I sat in my living room with that hideous dress in my hands, feeling something inside me shift, like a heavy piece of furniture finally falling into place. I remembered everything. From when Haley was born and I stopped being the daughter and became the big sister, how I had to help her with her homework, keep her entertained, watch her when my parents were busy. How when I left for college I worked part-time and still sent them and her things. Small gifts, not because I had extra money, but because I wanted them to feel like I was still there. And when I started making good money I did what I had always done, I helped. For 2 years I helped my parents with their mortgage. Every month I sent $800 to cover the difference. And Haley's college, I had been paying for that for 3 years. It was a private university. Between tuition and books, I was spending about $2,500 a month during the school year, from August to December and January to May. And she still had a year left to graduate. Plus gifts, Christmas, birthdays, you name it. A month ago, I sent my mom a beautiful handbag she had been admiring in a store window. It was $500. I bought my dad a power tool he wanted for $300. I did it because they were my family, because that is how I was raised, because I was the responsible one. And in return they sent me someone else's trash. I looked at the dress again, really looked at it. It was truly awful. The scratchy fabric, the obnoxious color, the poorly placed bow, the musty smell that lingered in my nose. I took a picture of it, then went to my kitchen drawer and took out a pair of scissors. I went back to the living room, laid the dress on the coffee table, and started cutting it. I did not do it for drama. I did it because something inside me needed to break so I could stop putting up with all of this. With each cut, I felt like I was severing years of being taken for granted, years of, "You can handle it," years of "help your sister," years of being the one who always had to be accommodating. When I was finished, the dress was in shreds. I swept them into a trash bag and threw it out. Right then and there I made a decision. I was going to cancel everything, the mortgage assistance, the tuition payments, all of it. But not tonight. I was not going to give them my birthday to fill with phone calls, drama, and emotional manipulation. My birthday was going to be mine. The next day, I put on the black dress I had bought for the dinner. I did my hair and took a deep breath. I told myself that tonight, I was going to be with people who were actually happy for me. I arrived at the restaurant and it looked beautiful. They had set up some simple, elegant balloons, candles, and our table was ready. My friends started arriving right on time. They brought that wonderful energy you feel when someone genuinely wants to celebrate with you. Jess from work showed up with flowers. Mark showed up with a mug that said 30 and thriving. Sarah gave me a huge hug. Normal gifts from normal people, from people who do not use you. About an hour into dinner, someone asked the inevitable question. "So where are your parents? What time are they and Haley getting here?" I had rehearsed my answer, but I still felt my stomach drop. Their flight got complicated. Some last-minute stuff came up. No one pushed it. They could tell I was upset and I was grateful they let it go. The night went on. The food was amazing. Everyone told stories, we laughed like the world was light. And for moments I forgot about it. I truly forgot until I checked my phone. Not a single call, not one text, not a happy birthday message. Nothing. My parents, the people I had supported, did not take 1 minute out of their day to write to me. Haley, whose college education I was funding, not one message. I checked my phone several times like an idiot, and the only thing I saw was Haley's new posts. Beach cocktails, sunsets, friends, the whole package. Cabo paid for with my money. My whole body burned with rage, but I was not going to give them the satisfaction. I was not going to let them ruin my night. I started taking my own photos with my friends, with the cake, with the table, with our laughing faces. I did it out of joy, yes, but also because an idea was starting to form in my mind. Later that night, we took a couple of rideshares back to my apartment. The streets were quieter, and you could finally breathe without the constant traffic. Once we were there, I uploaded several photos to my social media accounts. Nothing out of the ordinary. Birthday with incredible people. Thank you for tonight. 30 minutes later, a comment from my mom appeared on one of the photos. "Why didn't you wear the gorgeous pink dress we sent you?" I stared at the screen in disbelief. They take $4,000 from me, ignore me on my birthday, and then have the nerve to complain about a used dress. I replied with the photo of the dress. The tag was perfectly visible. "Do you mean this one? The one that still has the $15 price tag from the thrift store?" I posted it and went back to my friends, but I kept checking my phone. A few minutes later, Jess looked up. "Chloe, what is this about a dress?" Sarah's eyes went wide as if she did not know whether to laugh or get angry. "Your mom gave you that?" I did not want to get into the details, but it was already out there. "It is complicated," I said. Mark read from his phone. "Hey, your mom commented again. She is saying they spent hours picking it out, and that they are disappointed you did not appreciate it." I let out a bitter laugh. Of course. Now the dress was a symbol of their great love and effort. I replied right then and there. "Today I turned 30, and you sent me a used $15 dress after I wired you $4,000 for flights and clothes so you could come, and instead of that, you sent Haley on a trip." Then I uploaded another photo, the one of the open package on my kitchen island with the tag showing and the Phoenix return address on the box. My friends fell silent reading. I told them everything without sugarcoating it. The money for the tickets, the money for clothes, Cabo, the she is a priority text, the fact that they did not even wish me a happy birthday. And my friends got angry for me, as if I were their own sister. Jess wrote in the comments, "You do not do that. No mother does this to her daughter." Sarah commented, "So where are they? Why aren't they with you today?" Mark posted, "I am truly sorry. You deserve so much better than this." In less than an hour, the post was filled with comments. People from work, friends, acquaintances all saying the same thing. That it was an injustice, that they had crossed a line, that I was not overreacting. Then my phone rang. It was my mom. I almost did not answer, but with all that support behind me, I felt strong. "What?" I said when I picked up. "Chloe, delete that right now," she snapped, her voice shaking with anger. "You are embarrassing us. This is so humiliating." "Humiliating for what?" "Because you spent my money and sent me a used dress." "That money was a gift," she said, as if that one sentence explained everything. "Sure, a gift that you apparently thought came with permission to use it however you wanted. But no, that money was for you to come. You asked for it for that purpose and you accepted it. This is a family matter. You had no right to post it online. Right? And you had no right to use me. If you do not delete it, we are going to have to distance ourselves from you," she said, her voice full of threat. It made me laugh. Oh no, how terrifying. You are creating drama. Drama? Okay, you want more drama? Then as soon as I hang up, I am canceling the mortgage help and Haley's tuition payments. Everything. "Chloe, you cannot do that," she screamed. "I absolutely can." I hung up, opened my banking app, and canceled the scheduled recurring payments, the one for the mortgage, the one for the tuition, everything that went out month after month during the school year. Took me 5 minutes. When it was done, I felt a sense of peace. My friends clapped. They genuinely applauded, as if I had just saved myself from something. That night was incredible. We stayed up late talking, drinking wine and laughing. My phone kept buzzing with calls from my dad, my mom, and Haley. I did not answer a single one. The next day, I woke up to a phone full of missed calls, and right then, without a second thought, I blocked their numbers. I blocked them on social media, everything. For the first time in years, I felt free. 2 weeks passed and I started to feel normal again. My bank account was no longer being drained by transfers I made out of habit. I did not carry the weight of whether they could make their payments or not. It was my money and it was my life. Until my boss, Mr. Davison, called me into his office. "Chloe, I need to talk to you about something strange that happened yesterday." I felt my stomach lurch. "A woman called me saying she is your mother," he said. "She told me that you left your family in a difficult financial situation, and that I needed to talk to you so you would support them again. She mentioned something about getting lawyers involved if you did not cooperate." I felt my face flush with embarrassment. "I am so sorry, sir. I did not think they would do that. Do you want to tell me what is going on?" I told him everything. The party, the money, the dress, Cabo, the text message, everything. And before he could ask how she got his number, I brought it up myself. "She probably got it from a business card I left at the house a long time ago when I went to visit. My mom saves everything." He listened without interrupting, and when I finished, he smiled with a hint of disbelief. "You did the right thing," he said. "Family or not, no one has the right to take advantage of you like that. And if this escalates, we have legal counsel here at the company who can offer you some guidance. Just let us know." I walked out of there shaking, but also incredibly grateful not to be alone. A month went by. I expected to receive some kind of legal notice, but nothing ever came. That is when I understood they had no real way to pressure me. And I was saving so much money. During the school year, between the mortgage and the university, I was spending around $3,300 a month. Now that money was staying with me. I started putting it into a high-yield savings account. I started thinking about a down payment, about finally buying a place of my own instead of renting. One Saturday morning, there was a knock on the door. I was expecting a grocery delivery, so I peeked through the peephole. My breath caught in my throat. It was my parents and Haley. They had suitcases. They had taken a red-eye flight to Seattle, and must have taken a car straight from the airport because they looked exhausted and rushed. I opened the door, but I did not invite them in. "What are you doing here?" My mom pushed past me and walked into my apartment as if she owned the place. "We came to fix this, Chloe," she said. And as soon as she was inside, her tone changed. "This has gone too far." My dad followed her in. Haley too. None of them asked for permission. "You have to leave," I said, calmly closing the door, but with my heart pounding. My mom did not even turn to look at me. "The bank sent us a notice about the mortgage," she said, as if I were the one at fault. "If we do not pay, we are going to get into serious trouble. You have to start sending the money again." "No," I said. "I do not have to do anything." Haley crossed her arms. "I am almost done. I just have 1 year left. You cannot just abandon me like this. I need you to pay for my last year." I looked at her, standing there in my living room, making demands as if my money were her birthright, the same girl who was on a beach while I turned 30 alone. "If you want to finish, get a job and pay for it yourself," I told her. My dad frowned. "You are being vindictive. This is all because of that dress, isn't it? This is because you took $4,000 from me and treated me like I did not exist." "We did not take anything," my mom snapped. "We are your family. You are supposed to help. And when did you ever help me?" I asked without raising my voice. At that point, all three of them started talking at once, a barrage of accusations about how selfish I was. How could I? That I was abandoning them, that I was ungrateful, that family is family. I let them vent until they ran out of steam. Then I spoke slowly, looking at each of them. "If you want to keep your house, get full-time jobs." My mom looked at me offended. "We are not in a position to work like that anymore. Then sell the house, downsize, do something. But it is no longer my problem." My mom raised her hand as if to command me. "Chloe, do not be like this." I walked to the door, opened it and pointed outside. "You are leaving my apartment right now." No one moved at first. My mom just stood there, as if waiting for me to back down like I always did. But not this time. I walked toward them and began to gently but firmly guide them toward the exit, with the kind of determination you use when you are removing someone who has crossed a major line. My dad went first, muttering under his breath. My mom followed, grumbling. Haley was the last one. She turned around to say something, but I did not wait to hear it. I shut the door. I stood in my living room, shaking with adrenaline. I sat on my couch and took a deep breath. I felt proud of myself, even if it hurt. I had finally chosen me. Months passed. I found out through cousins that my parents did have to get full-time jobs, and that they complained to everyone about how hard it was, saying I had left them in financial ruin. I also found out that Haley got a job. Not one, but two. She was tired, stressed, with no time for parties or trips. Did I feel guilty? No. Every time I started to feel a pang of something, I remembered the pink dress, the musty smell, the $15 tag, and the text message. She is a priority. I, on the other hand, was doing well. I was thriving. I saved up a solid down payment and started looking at condos. My social life improved because I was no longer weighed down by constant stress. I even started dating a guy from work, someone kind and respectful, the type of person who does not demand things from you. Sometimes a relative would call and say in a scolding tone, "But they are your family, Chloe. Do you not think you are being too harsh?" I always gave them the same answer. "Did they tell you about the dress they sent me for my 30th birthday?" "What dress?" Then I would show them the photo. The ugly pink dress, the tag, the price. And the relative would almost always fall silent, as if they finally understood. I was not being vindictive. I was not playing a game to punish them. I was simply no longer willing to be the person who put up with everything. For 30 years I was the responsible one, the problem solver, the one who sent the money, the one who swallowed her own discomfort so everyone else could be okay. My mom said Haley was the priority. Perfect. That meant that for the first time in my life I was going to be my own priority. And even though it sounds simple, that one decision changed everything. Because suddenly I had money in my savings account, less drama in my life, and people around me who actually loved me for who I was, not for what I could give them. Sometimes I wonder if my parents or Haley ever think about that dress. If it ever crossed their minds that it was an insult, that it was cruel, that it was more than just a thoughtless gesture. Then I remember that they probably do not, because for them that was normal, to take and to still demand more. And honestly, that was all the confirmation I ever needed. Comment. Setting boundaries with the people we love the most is often the hardest thing we ever have to do. We naturally want to take care of our families, but that kindness should never come at the cost of our own self-respect. Walking away from a one-sided dynamic is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary step toward true healing. You cannot carry the weight of everyone else's responsibilities while completely neglecting your own peace of mind. A healthy relationship must be built on mutual care, not just on what you can constantly provide. It takes immense courage to stop being the person who absorbs all the discomfort just to keep others happy. Choosing to protect your emotional energy allows you to build a life filled with genuine connections. I hope this video serves as a gentle reminder that it is perfectly acceptable to make yourself a priority. Letting go of misplaced guilt makes room for a beautiful future where you are valued simply for existing. I would love to read your thoughts below on how you navigate setting these healthy limits in your own life. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.